What's up, humans? Welcome to another episode of Shots from the Winchester podcast, brought to you by Greencastle Consulting, your nation's premier strategy execution firm. I'm your host, Al Green, and today we got an awesome episode. We have Joe Crandall, CEO and visionary of Greencastle, and we have Eric Diamond, president of Greencastle Consulting and integrator. And we're going to get into these titles in a moment. But first of all, let's jump in and talk about who these guys are. Let's talk about Joe first. Like, Joe, just give the audience just a brief about who you are, where you came from, why you bought Greencastle.
Yeah, I grew up in a small town in Incline Village, Nevada, joined the Navy, and then after that got into sales and marketing a little bit. And then when I joined Greencastle in 2012, I was brought on to help grow the company. And as time went on, Selwyn Evans, the previous owner, wanted to get out of it, and so I was the one that was stupid enough to put up the money to buy it. And 5 years later, here we are. We've grown over 500%, over 115 people on board in a 24,000 square foot facility with its own podcast room, its own gym, its own golf simulator, and a bar, and we do consult.
That's a lot of fun. And then Eric?
Yeah, so born and raised in the great state of Pennsylvania, where we are today. Got a Army ROTC scholarship to go to Bucknell University. That parlayed into becoming a Chinook driver. Chinook helicopters, they're the ones with the two big rotors on top instead of just the one. Yeah. But that was for the National Guard, so kind of simultaneously, I started up a solar company, ran that for a few years, bounced around to another few things, and ultimately ended up here. So nice. Diverse early, professional work experience, and I think that helped me get well-rounded and ready to go into the consulting field.
Nice. Well, besides having fun things like golf simulators and stuff, we have a happy hour that we always post, at least once a month. Mm-hmm. So we have a little bit of pregame happening in front of us right here, of some whiskey, from Liberty. So we're going to hit that real quick and jump into the conversation.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's awesome. Not bad. Ooh, rye whiskey, that's great. All right, so let's just a brief history about Greencastle. Sure. Like, how did Greencastle come about, and when did you purchase it?
Yeah, so Greencastle was founded in '97 by 3 Army Rangers, and what they wanted to do is take the military decision-making model and use it in a way to help companies solve big problems. Mm-hmm. And so for many years, they operated in different industries, working with different types of companies. Ultimately settled in on healthcare for a little while, and then energy, where we're at right now in the utilities business. And, I joined in 2012, and then in 2015 is when I became a partner. And then in 2019 is when I purchased the company.
Nice.
I think one of the interesting things to add there is it was founded by 3 Army Rangers, but it wasn't in its earlier years exclusively 100% staffed by veterans. It was always the lion's share, but it wasn't exclusive. And as Joe was getting ready to take over the company, he and I were talking about, what are we really trying to do in the long run? And as part of that, what makes us special? What makes us so effective? What is our secret sauce? And we kind of identified it. It is that military thing. It is that veteran experience, the camaraderie, the culture, the mindset of how we approach things. And so Joe really was the one that set the tone and said, hey, it's always been mostly veteran, and we identified that's what makes us special, and that's what we're all about moving forward. So since he took over the company, it's been 100% veteran staffed.
Nice.
Yeah, we like to say we're the world's largest veteran-only company.
Yeah. Why do you find it important that it's all veterans?
Veterans have a way of getting stuff done, and they don't necessarily worry about the fanfare, or they don't get wrapped up around small little details that might not be available or be to, something that can be solved easily. They just move on and keep executing the mission. So our clients like that. That's why we created the GSD Award, the GSD framework, and all the different things that we have, which is to allow the veteran to just work for a client and get stuff done.
I think there's things that you gain from military experience, and it's a combination of both hard and soft skills, right?
Yeah.
The soft skills is that mindset aspect. It's I'm just not going to lose. I'm just not going to give up. And in particular, there's a stress inoculation too. You get trained to operate at a high level when there's bullets flying around your head.
Yeah, true.
Right?
Yeah.
You get into the corporate world, there can be some stressful situations, but usually there's no bullets flying around.
Nobody's going to
Right.
die.
So the soft skills side is a huge asset to what we bring to the table, but the hard skill side as well, Joe mentioned early on, is there's a military decision making process. There's actually technical elements to leadership, right, and to planning and to executing that we learned in a pragmatic way in the military that you can bring as well.
Nice. Now, you mentioned earlier about growth being over 500%, and this is inside of the last 5 years. That obviously there's a plan there. And with growth at 500%, that's pretty epic. Like, what's the plan? What was the motivation that drove that 500%?
Yeah, a lot of that was just pent up demand for our work through the good work that our consultants were doing. For years and years, we've just been executing with companies like Exelon and PPL and a few others. And it's when the GACers, our employees, were just doing a great job, there was always asks for more and more. And we just never really capitalized on that. And so when I purchased the company, I decided to let that animal loose, and we've been growing rapidly since. I think when I bought it was 30 people, and now we're at 115. And we just hired our first salesperson, so now we got to get serious about the growth and start expanding outside our current clients as well as outside Philadelphia.
Nice.
A lot of that, so Joe mentioned pent up growth, right?
Yeah.
Some of that was internally restricted. We kind of intentionally, before Joe took over, encouraged people to come here for a few years and move on. Joe started to create
the way station.
Joe started to create career growth opportunities so that consultants could stay on longer, and that really had this virtuous circle of our model and how, because consulting's a broad industry, but our model really is this deep client relationship, client intimate model, where we don't just treat them as a job to get in and get out and make a quick buck, right? We really get invested into learning everything it is about them, what drives them, and their broader corporate culture, their systems, their processes, their policies, right? So that there's such a wealth of knowledge and ability to continue to deliver more and more value for our clients if you stick around. Like you gain all that on your first project that you do for them. You're twice as effective on the next one. You're 3 times as effective on the next one. So before, we would have people kind of go through that learning curve and then move on to another company. Now they stick around, and we just really are able to knock it out of the park with delivering value time and again, and deeper value. And that's what's really kind of that pent up explosion that we saw.
Nice. And it looks like, so what gives Greencastle that edge that the clients are really looking for? I feel like you answered this, but just a little bit more nuance into that if we could.
A lot of it comes down to, in my opinion, that we don't have 3-foot wall people, which is people that get stopped by small little obstacles. They blast right through them, or they go around them or under them. The other side too is that we're picking the best people with military backgrounds. So we just don't pick right out of the military, right fresh out. We pick people with already consulting backgrounds or a long storied career in the civilian community, and help them unleash the skill sets that they have, and they enjoy accomplishing things. And I think that's probably the key to it, is that most of our employees enjoy getting stuff done. They don't like to sit around and just go with the flow. They like to forge their own path. They like to get things done so the client's successful, and so then they can enjoy that.
Nice. Yeah.
I think there's another military mindset asset that we have, which is veterans love to be part of a team. And so when we get assigned to a client where the client has a challenge or a project that they're trying to work through, we don't just treat it as their problem that we're here to deliver some deliverables or services. Like, we make it our problem. We take it on ourselves, right?
Yeah. Now, in the beginning of every show, I always say strategy execution firm.
That's good. I'm glad you do that.
Yeah. So for our audience, because
actually, I have to take a shot every time you say strategy execution firm.
Yeah, it's a new drinking game.
That's a good look. So what is strategy execution? Because I feel like if the audience doesn't know what that is, you two are the best people to answer that for them.
Yeah, so strategy execution is, in my opinion, it could be everything from a single contributor being part of a larger project, or us running the entire project. And what generally ends up happening is a large consulting firm, somebody with the breadth and depth to be able to set the strategy for a Fortune 500 company, comes in and says, here's what your strategy should be for the next couple of years. And what they don't do so well is they don't they don't have a lot of people that can execute that and get stuff done. And so that's when we come into the picture, where VP or senior director is handed this plan and said, do it. And they're just like, okay. And then that's where we come in. We have methodologies that are built on change management, process improvement, and project management, sprinkling some business intelligence and some other stuff in there. And we have a combined methodology that allows us to really take any sort of major initiative that's critical to the organization and begin to execute on it, and have quick wins as well as long-term schedules and long-term milestones for success. And so that's really the crux of a lot of what people are doing right now through digital transformations, or wholesale swap outs of software systems, or creating a new service line for their company. We can come in and help them with any of those things.
I think it's worth mentioning that we didn't always refer to our services as strategy execution. So,
Right, yeah.
And we used to refer to it for what it is, which is implementation, right? But implementation is a word that's about as specific as consulting. Right. Now you say, I do consulting. Like, okay, we do implementation. I kind of understand ish what that word means.
Right.
So just a more descriptive way to say what we're doing, right? Our clients, the leadership there, the C-suite, the CEO themselves, the board of directors, whoever it is, they have a strategy. They might have thought of it themselves. They might have paid some, Big Four, Bain, BCG, McKinsey type to help them with that. Either way, they have a fairly clear vision of what they want to get done over a period of time.
Yeah.
And they just don't have the ability to clone themselves 50 times, or a team of people on staff, on standby, just hoping and waiting for a strategy to get given to them, right? They need the bandwidth, and they need the bandwidth of people who have the mindset and skill set to follow that through, as opposed to typically they're staffed with operations people who are experts on what they do, right? Strategy implementation is often doing something that a company doesn't do day to day, right? That's what makes it a strategy, right? This is how are they evolving in the market, and that's what we specialize in delivering.
Nice. Now, I feel like that covered, why did we decide to use the term strategy execution?
Yeah, it's more widely accepted and understood.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if we're looking for people to recognize who we are as Greencastle, using something that's not overly saturated might be actually a little easier for us to get more visibility, which is a good look too. Let's define these roles. Now, earlier before when we started, we said, CEO and president, but you guys are also visionary and integrator. So this is based on the EOS model. And I think the audience was really keened in on the whole EOS model and what does that mean and how does Greencastle use it? So could you just tell everybody how you guys sort your roles?
Yeah, so it actually started back in 2019 when I purchased the company. We read this book, Traction, by Gino Wickman, I think it was. And it just made sense the way it just provides a framework and how to run a growing company. And we implemented it ourselves, and there were certain things we just didn't do right away. Just didn't make sense or wasn't the right time for us. And the visionary and integrator model was one of those things. So we pushed it off for a couple of years, and over time we just started to naturally settle into those roles. And really the visionary is the long-term strategy, big picture ideas, trying